Hi there, Elise Dewsberry here from New Musicals Inc. with vlog number 97 in my series How to Get No Feedback from Elise. Today I want to spotlight a particular song from a show that I saw recently because I thought in particular was a really good example of using a progression in a musical scene. The show itself is called Pump Up the Volume. It was recently at the Hollywood Fringe Festival. It's been in development for a number of years. It got sort of sidelined by the pandemic. The composer of the show is Jeff Thompson, and I met Jeff many years ago, I think back in 2003 or 4, when I first started working with what was then called the Academy for New Musical Theater, and is now called New Musicals Inc. And had just arrived on the scene and was trying to convince, our founder John Sparks and executive director Scott Guy that I knew what I was talking about when it came to dramaturgy, and they wanted me to prove it. So they asked me to work with some of the writers who were already members and offer them some feedback and see how it went. So one of the very first writers that I did this for was Jeff Thompson. And I believe it was a one-hander that he wrote up, not a one-hander, a solo author piece that he wrote book, music, and lyrics. If I'm wrong about that, Jeff, let me know. And he had me review it, which I did. And we had a nice time working on that together. And then he went off and he moved to New York and he did lots of other things. And he's had quite a budding career since then. Let's see, he's gotten the Jonathan Larson Performing Arts Foundation Award, the Dramatists Guild Musical Theater Writing Fellowship, the Dottie Berman Award. His original musical Trails, with book by Christy Hall, lyrics by Jordan Mann, won the Nymph Award for Best Musical Score. That's the New York Musical Theater Festival that used to happen. And he started working on Pump Up the Volume with his collaborator, his book writer and lyricist, Jeremy Desmond. Now, Jeremy has his own wonderful credits. He wrote The Girl in the Frame, which earned him the Kleban Prize for musical theater book writing, and he's written lots of other things. So he and Jeff have collaborated on several things with Jeremy doing book and lyrics and Jeff doing music. And Pump Up the Volume is based on the 1990s film of the same name, and they've been developing it for a while. I believe they've been developing at least partly with the Fifth Avenue Theater up in Seattle. And as I said, they've had some bumps in the road because of COVID, but they're back on track now. And they did a sort of proof of concept workshop staged reading at the Hollywood Fringe Festival just a couple of months ago, and I was lucky enough to go see it. And I loved the show. I think it's clever and witty and moving, and all of the areas of craft are really working in this show. And I particularly fell in love with one sequence, a musical scene. And I asked Jeffrey if he and Jeremy would be willing to send me the lyrics so that I could talk about it here. So I have it. I'm not going to read all the lyrics, but I'm going to just let you know, tell you what it is about it that I really enjoyed. So tiny bit of background. The story is about a bunch of high school kids who are feeling, unheard. The metaphors throughout the show that Jeremy employs about being heard, not being heard, the silence, the words, all that kind of stuff. They permeate the entire score in every song in a really strong way. So that the whole show lives in a really strong metaphoric world. Their main character, Mark, is someone who has a really hard time expressing himself in public. He stammers. He's not able to speak without stammering. So he's, the major representative. All the kids are feeling sort of unseen and unheard, but in particular, Mark, who's not able to put what he wants to say into words properly. So early on in the show, someone is being bothered by one of the teachers and being given a hard time, and Mark wants to stand up for her. And so he tries to, and he says, and the teacher interrupts and says, Mr. Hunter, is it something to share? And he says, I. And the teacher, who is definitely the villainess of the piece, mimics him and says, you, what? In a mean way that just destroys him, and he decides not to pursue it. And he leaves this moment. And then he's left alone, and the music starts. And he turns out to the audience and he sings, when you have the words, you don't just vanish when they call your name. You're the guy who steps into the light with your fierce and piercing wit. You tell them they're all full of shit, then stand up tall and march into the fight. But the words won't come. So you slouch down in your seat and the words won't come. So you stare down at your feet. When the words won't come, no surrender, no defeat. if you retreat and you play dumb, when the words won't come. So that whole first section is based on the idea, when you have the words, you're able to speak for yourself, but when the words won't come the way it is for him, that doesn't work. He moves on. As I said, it's a musical scene. There's some underscoring. The girl that he was trying to help shows up in the hall and wants to talk to him. And she says, hey, thanks, for almost joining the revolution back there. A for effort. And she says, I'm Nora. You've been here 2 months. And he says, Mark. She says, right, Mark. And then there's a moment, and the script says that there could be a moment between the two of them, but he panics and says, sorry, and he runs off. And Nora says, yeah, okay, good talking to you. So once again, he wasn't able to speak. So he starts singing again. When you have the words, the girl with fiery eyes will know your name, and you won't just stand there like a tool. Crack a joke, she cracks one back. Tell her she looks good in black, and maybe for a moment all is cool. But the words won't come. So you stammer, turn aside. No, the words won't come, and you're trapped and terrified when the words won't come. Nothing's lost when nothing's tried. If you can hide where you stay numb when the words won't come. Then he moves into a little bit of a B section area, a dreamy moment where and this is a typical of a progression, right? You're starting with the situation you're in, the words won't come. Now you're going to move into considering something else. But if I had the words, I wouldn't keep them to myself. I'd leap up on a chair and share each thought inside of me. If I had the words, I'd fire up a crowd and I'd inspire us to be what we can be. If I had the words, we'd laugh and rave and rant and dream. We'd say so much we wouldn't feel the need to scream. So this is him dreaming of another alternative. That's part of the progression if he had those words. At this point, he has arrived home and his father, who's a police officer, shows up. Says, God damn it, Mark. Mark says, Dad. And his dad says, so I'm at the station, and one of the officers says, Lieutenant, Miss Cresswood on line 2. And so I pick up line 2, and suddenly my son's principal is chewing my ear off about insubordination. And Mark says, I barely said anything. And Lieutenant Hunter, cuts him off and says, I don't have time for this, Mark. We're still new here, and suddenly you're making trouble. You're 17 years old. Act like it. And then he leaves, and Mark is left alone again, and he goes back, and he says, you don't have the words, so you can't say, hey, Dad, I hate this place. Miss my mom, the only life I've known, so we don't exactly chat. God knows we're no good at that. Who needs it when I've got the microphone? Now, here's the really important part of the progression. So we follow him into his bedroom, and suddenly he's in his bedroom studio, and he whips a sheet off to reveal that he has this radio console there, and it powers up to life, and music fills the air. And he sings, words will come. So it's time to start the show. All the words will come when I'm on the radio. And before you know, all the daylight phrases that you keep within begin to flow. All the words are there when you're on the air, in the static and the hum. All the words will come. Now, bearing in mind that we already know that there's this person who is who's broadcasting to the kids that they're all excited about, and he's called Hard Harry. So one by one, we see lights rise up on the students who are listening to their radios for this broadcast that they've been expecting. And they're singing, speak to me, speak to me, speak to me. And Mark sings, all the words will come. The students sing, speak to me, speak to me, speak to me. And Mark sings, all the words will come. And then into the microphone he speaks, it's 10 p.m., my unfaithful listeners. Hard Harry is on the air. And it's the end of the musical scene. And we now realize that this stuttering, shy boy for whom the words won't come, when he's on the radio, is this Hard Harry who has absolutely no problem speaking. But what we've been led through is this progression of when the words won't come, when the words won't come. If the words would come, maybe I could do this. And then when he shifts his persona, then it's all the words. Sorry, let me just double check. I don't want to get this progression up. The last one is words will come, all the words will come, all the words will come. So that is a beautiful example of a progression. It's within a musical scene. It leads us through an entire storyline of this shy kid who turns out to have this persona, which will unfold as the show goes on. So thanks, Jeremy and Jeff, for allowing me to give this example of a really fine progression in a song. And I recommend that all of you check out Pump Up the Volume, which I'm sure you will be hearing more about in the future. So thanks, and toodaloo.